Hey, Carlos, how you doing, man?
Good morning, Don. So I joined with the right link, right? Things like.
Yeah. Yep. You and I are, oops, I got to change shirts. You and I are both here. We're in a good place.
Okay, because the calendar shows me two different appointment links, so I'm not sure which one, but it's the original one from last 2 weeks.
We're loading our travel trailer to head out camping tomorrow, so that shirt's all sweaty.
So that the other link I have is from this lady, I forgot her name, who sent
Anne
me
Marie.
who registered me.
Yeah, Anne Marie.
Anne Marie, thank you. She sent me a new link, so now I got two schedules. I got
So
Okay.
one should have been a registration link, and one when you register should come up with a Zoom link. And if you use separate emails, different emails for each time you go in, you'll get separate Zoom links. So we want you to have just one Zoom link. So use one email.
So I like hers because hers showed me who the guests are. There's 16 guests. But
Okay, that was
I
probably
think-
an Outlook appointment, probably.
Oh, okay. But I'm not using her link. I'm using the original one.
Okay,
So should I?
no, you should be good.
If I use either, it's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to go back in, and I'll take a note here to go back in and have us look and see if you've got two or one.
Well, why don't I try it? I'm gonna log
No,
out.
no, stay this. Just stay here.
All right.
We'll take care of it on the back end.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Brian.
Don, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good, good.
Great.
Mr. Gaub. Good to see you.
Good morning, Mr. Gleason. Good to see you.
Congrats on the job. That is awesome. Everything coming in line for that?
Oh yeah, it was just published yesterday on the city website. So
All right. I look anxious to hear a little bit more.
yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah. How's family doing with your transition?
They're doing all right. Yeah, Natasha's getting going in school, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So after homeschooling for 3 years, it's good to see her making that transition successfully so far.
Yeah, that's a big step. Hey, Aaron. Mr. Cardinals.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. How's the body feeling?
Not good. I took myself swimming in our neighborhood pool yesterday, trying to keep outside of the dock, but yeah, my back's been firing away spasm-wise, so I've been limping quite a bit, but I'm hanging in there.
Okay.
Don't break your back overseas, kids.
I tell you what, don't break it ever.
Yeah.
I just got 30% disability on my back. So I'm slowly creeping toward that 100%.
I actually saw on Thursday finally some movement on my veteran disability page, so I was thankful to see that.
Is that right?
Still in that evidence gathering mode, though.
Yeah. I tell you, it's so much better to do it now than it is 12 years later. Like I'm going through it. Man, oh man, what a pain. Hey, CC. Hey, Jill. Hey, Delaney. Delaney.
Hey, CC, nice to see you.
Yeah, good group today.
Hey, CC, you've had a lot of good updates lately. I've seen on LinkedIn. CC, this is great.
I'm trying to keep the momentum going. Hopefully.
There you go. I'm anxious to hear about it. I haven't been here in like 6 weeks in this one. Headed off to Cleveland. We went through the baseball game and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, took a couple of days off, and then was at a John Maxwell conference 2 weeks ago. So that was awesome. Awesome speakers. I'll be passing more and more of that along over time.
Good to see you too, Jill.
Yeah.
Hi, Aaron.
So Matt will not be here. He is in the Joint Base San Antonio Transition Alliance. They're doing a meeting in person today. So he took the option to go there and show off MTR in person. Hey, Ash.
Morning.
Morning. Morning, Blake. All
Good
right.
morning.
Well, this is going to be a great conversation today. Man, oh man. Are we at the top of the hour yet? We are. Let's jump in. Anybody got any announcements? Aaron, you start your job here shortly, right?
You know, I keep getting that question. It is slow as molasses. So just wrapped up the secret clearance that they had to do on their end, even though I have a TS. And right now they are getting a little bit of pushback on the remote waiver required for me to work here from the house. So we're waiting for further higher ups to approve it. And so I'm just laying and waiting with the FEMA position.
Okay. Are you still looking then, or are you just sitting back?
I'm just sitting back. I just had a conversation with them on Friday. Just kind of enjoying growing the beard and swimming and hanging out here at the house right now.
There you go.
The goal was to get me on board during the hurricane season, which ends, within 60 days. So
3 weeks, yeah. Okay.
for those interested, though, I do know they have now opened up those that might be working for me. So my position is GS14, and they've opened up 4 positions that are now chipping with FEMA. If anybody knows anybody that is in the emergency disaster response realm, they've now posted. I think the job is open until September 16th on US.gov.
Is it for the logistics positions?
It's not. It's for mitigation and disaster response. And these are actually IC positions. They're IC 12 and 13. So if you guys know anybody, I'll drop my email and holler at me.
That'd be good. That'd be good. Anybody else got any announcements? Chris, did you already talk yours last time?
No, I didn't know mine last time.
Okay. Which update is?
But yeah, so I guess a good lesson in networking, but I was selected to be the director of public works for the city of Great Falls, Montana, which I think is a pretty cool opportunity to take my Air Force experience and but yet also sort of get a fresh start in something totally new and different, city government, city politics, etc. So
yeah.
But I got to know the city manager when I was stationed at Malmstrom years ago. And so you just never know where your network's gonna pop in. And he emailed his deputy and said, get in touch with Chris and see if he'd be interested in this job. So
Excellent.
he had other candidates as well, but anyway, you just never know where that network's gonna, connect to you.
That's right. That's right. Congratulations. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Especially that's where you want to go, and it's a smaller town, so that can be a little tougher. But
yeah, I just lined up. I retire 1 October and I'll start this job on 1 November. So
yeah,
and no secret clearance required.
there you go. There you go. Anybody else got an announcement?
I passed my ITIL course. I still have to do the certification part, but I passed that, and I'm now on my A+ journey. So
Okay.
that's a good segue into hopefully getting all these other certs done, or at least getting the studies done, so I can get at least 1 or 2 of the additional certifications, so I can start like looking for jobs and all that good stuff. So,
That's right. Yeah, you're now in San Antonio, right?
Yep, I'm here in San Ann.
Yeah, enjoying the heat. It's a little bit cooler now. Of course, it was on 97 yesterday. A little bit cooler.
It was a little hot yesterday, but it was. I would take it.
Yeah. I was out picking up our camper in the heat of the afternoon. It's like, whoa, that's warm. All right, well, let's jump into our education moment. What I wanted to do is share a little bit on the webinar that I did a week or so ago, because it's about values. Can you guys see that slide?
Yes.
Yeah, I think sometimes we're so used to just accepting values. Military sends us to a location. There's always the service values, but every organization has its own values because it has its own culture, because it has different people. So you can be aligned with the greater values, but even inside the organization, you can feel some different things. And even within a team, you could feel that way. I know when I was with Booz Allen, one team I had some values, and another team that I had different values, even though we were in the same company, same location. So it's important to kind of know what your values are so you can see if they match. And I'm curious, Chris and Aaron and others, if as you've gone through your job hunt, how this has played out. Let's talk a little bit here. So there's some key things that you ought to think about. And this is what we talked about. 3 big questions. Think of a time when you were most happy. Now, what was it about that? Don't just think about the time, but think about what was it about that that made you happy. When I think about that, wow, what was I doing? Kind of 3 sub questions. What was I doing? I was always working the environmental area. I can go back to when I was a first lieutenant, second lieutenant, captain. Even when I was lieutenant colonel, I got to be chief of environmental in Europe and for Air Force. And I really enjoyed that position. And the question is, what was I doing? Well, I was working environmental programs. I was my purpose from 5th grade was working to clean up America's waters. And I loved that. And who was I working with is that 3rd question. And it was shop leaders and peers and sometimes regulators. I was building relationships. And so I was thinking about what is it about that time that made me happy? What was it about the value? And it was environmental. It was sustainability. It was working toward my purpose, cleaning America's waters. So, well, think about those questions. What was it that made you most happy? What about it? And then I think of a time when it was what made me most proud. Another emotion. Why are we just sidelight? Why are we always talking emotions? Simon Sinek in the book Start With Why says that the side of the brain that deals with emotions has a hard time putting it into words. So we really need to work hard to try to pull those emotions out and figure out what was it that made us happy? What was it that made us proud? Again, when I think of, for me, the accomplishment of teamwork and collaboration, I started some staff assistance visits. I reached out to we were doing hazardous waste management in the shops. And up to that point, it had been a hodgepodge. We were way out of compliance. We were getting environmental regulators were giving us write-ups. So I had to work the relationships with the shops and talk to them about how we need to do this and why. And of course, there was pushback, right? You always get the guy who says, I used to swim in PCB. Why are you worried about if I touch it? Right. And but you had to think about how to sell that. So it was building the teamwork and the collaboration. And I found out that I really enjoyed that teamwork and the collaboration and working together and coming together as a team toward that common goal. What did other people share my pride? I just said not always, but I was so focused in on it. I was able to help them understand why, not just from a compliance perspective, but the reasons why. And what other factors contributed? It was finding that medium, that way to work together. It really made me proud when we could get that done. And then the 3rd emotion is time when you felt fulfilled. It can be different than pride. It can be different than happy. Fulfilled is satisfied. That feeling when you go home at the end of the day and it's like, man, that was worth it. That was a hard day. I worked my butt off, but man, I feel like I really did something right. And what was the need or desire that helped find that fulfillment? And there was a piece of me of that purpose, right? The environmental, the sustainment. I keep coming back to that. The teamwork, the respect. Boy, that one popped out to me when I felt like I was in a meeting and I respected them and they respected me, and we just worked through tough times. But we got heated, we got tough. We didn't always agree, but we respected each other and we didn't call each other names. Boy, all of a sudden respect popped out for me. So all of a sudden you can see, environmental, sustainment, teamwork, collaboration, respect, all those values for me are popping out. And I'm hoping as you go through these questions, and maybe as you're sitting here right now, some of those words are popping out for you. And it's important when you think about that as you now go to looking for those next jobs. Are you paying attention to how those are going to be satisfied? How those are going to be present? I'm curious if anybody has used this kind of process before. If it's been valuable. Anybody? Aaron, you're laughing there. Gavin's raised his hand up. You guys got anything? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we talked last week about my DISC profile, but I wanted to mention it to other people on the call because I started the Commit Foundation, which is another transition service about really finding your purpose out there.
Mhm.
And they sent a book that I found extremely valuable, which is a lot of assessing your values so that way you find your flow state and really enjoy what you're doing, whether that's your full-time employment or just the activities that you do outside of work. And that's called a book called Designing Your Life. And it has activities in it to really assess what you enjoy and try to build your life around those. And it's not strictly a career focused book, but like I said, it's a life design book, and values is a strong part of that. So I'll put a link if anybody's interested in reading it as well. I'm about halfway through, and my plan is to read through it and then go back through it and do the actual evaluations while doing it. Because right now I got a lot of free time during my transition, and I'd rather wait until I get towards my internship starting next month to really see my flow states.
Yeah. And you just brought up a great point, right? Think about it from a life perspective. What jobs was it that pushed to 12, 15, 18-hour days? The boss was just toxic. What was it about the boss being toxic that just you hated? How did they disrespect you? What values were the negative side? Yeah. When did you not have enough energy to spend time with your family? Those are great points, Gavin. Thanks. Anybody else?
Don, I want to hop in here real quick. I've been with MTR now, I think, running on about 14 months, if my public math is about accurate.
Okay.
But one of the things that it was my first one-on-one with you outside of the group, and that's where you helped me get to my position where I am now. You helped me focus on not the nervous part of transitioning, retiring from the service, focusing on the JOB, but you were focused on what got me excited. And you and I share the same when it comes to sustainability and environmental, being a meteorologist. And you said you could hear my voice go a little bit higher, water horizon, and other earthquake responses. And that's where I was able to refocus I had job offers, JOB offers, my last 6 months in, especially with SkillBridge. But you guys just helped me, you and Matt just helped me kind of focus on where I want to be. I want to continue to serve. I want to continue to serve in some aspect. And that's what we focused on. And it wasn't that JOB just getting on USA jobs or getting all those other job boards. It was, where does Aaron want to find his next focus? And it was continue to serve in some aspect. And you guys really helped me identify that. And otherwise I wouldn't be in the position I am today.
That's excellent. So glad we were able to help. That's the piece that excites me right there. When somebody gets excited about their job, all of a sudden you notice the energy in me. Oh, I love it. Yeah. I don't want you to just get a job. At some point you might need a job, right? You just may need to get something to get you out of the house and get you paying and get the bills paid. That happens. But keep working toward that, what you really want. All right. Well, thanks. I just wanted to pass some of that along since we we didn't get the good word out real good on that webinar. And I wanted to pass some of that along because I thought there's so much value there. Interesting. Value and values. All right. Wins and challenges. Cece, you already started us off a little bit with your certification. Why don't you keep going? Wins and challenges, about 30 seconds each, and we'll just keep moving through it.
So my wins is, going through the weeks to get my training for the certifications. So that's a win. Challenges is the 4 block that starts this week. I haven't done anything to it yet, so might need to get on it. But yeah, that's my
okay. We had our orientation last night. I'm already in as coach. This is my 4th time. And with the big thing, I think everybody was A, your kind of elevator pitch, but B, I guess they'd done strength finders. And they had a different name for it, but everybody was talking what their strengths were. So I don't know if your cohort will do the same. But
yeah, I know they did the elevator pitch, like that's apparently due soon. So
okay. Who else next? Or I'll just go around the room. All right, I'm gonna jump to Brian.
Sure, thanks, Don. Cece, that's due today, in just a couple hours, so you better get on that.
No pressure.
No, not at all. Yeah. Get your stuff together, would you?
Yeah.
So I've been focused, really laser focused on trying to get real good informational interviews with companies and positions I've been targeting. And I've had a few of those, which has been good. And I have some more scheduled. And then I've created a database to kind of keep track of who I'm networking with. And the last time I talked to them and kind of what's the next steps I need to do. And keep me focused on that. And then speaking about keeping focused, I'm trying to get time to get focused to make some updates on the LinkedIn profiles that I worked on with Matt. And then connected with that is get the resume in line with the LinkedIn profile and make it all sync. So that's what I
There you
got.
go. Excellent. Excellent. Who's next? Gavin, you want to jump in?
Sure. Had a pretty busy last 2 weeks. Finished my Lean Six Sigma black belt. Started my PMP course. 4 block is tonight, and it's the stand-up skills assessment. So I just did that right before class, and I knocked out my elevator pitch. So it's not too time intensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see all you guys in 4 block. That is awesome.
Yeah, I'm a little sad because I signed up for Carlos and I are in the in-person DC course, and I guess the first one's virtual, which is not as good. I was hoping to be down there, but and Aaron, no, not I just did it through credentialing assistance. And it's it's an in-person course, but I just signed up for it. It's 2 times a week, and at the end I just have to get 30%. It won't give me the PMP. I still got to sign up for the PMP and actually take it. But that'll probably be once I'm done with my Shift Defense Ventures internship that starts in October. So I got a lot of things that I'm working through right now, which is why my challenges part is my official refrad. I guess the G1 section sent it to the wrong people, so now it's like a little bit behind, and they're like, "Well, it's the movement cycle." I'm like, "I'm getting out of the Army. Like, call HRC, please."
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
a topic for Thursday when I go into the office. And then I gotta pick a skill bridge this week because I'm finally getting my TAPS capstone done. And yeah,
All right.
just gotta apply and get accepted.
Yeah, some neat things going on. Neat things going on. Whoops, I got that in the wrong block. Carlos, catch us up. Wins and challenges.
Okay, well, it's my second time joining. I kind of got to get the ball rolling here. What you guys do. So I transitioned out until July. Yesterday I spoke to Big Navy and see if I can stay another extra month. So there's a possibility. And why do I want to stay an extra month? Is because hiring our heroes has a skill bridge that fits my transitioning better. So I can finish the skill bridge in July and still be active duty. I just gotta put in a strong endorsement from my CEO.
That'd be good. Okay.
The bad things is that because I'm in the transition period, I think many of you I'm behind the curve. I feel I've been taking some leave, trying to have some alone time at home, and nobody's talking in my ear, about my passion. What do I want to do? So yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of school certifications in there, but a lot of people, including you, Don, tell me, follow your passion, what you want to do. I'm like, there's so many things I could do. I just cannot concentrate. So I'm still in that.
Yeah.
That period.
Well, let's now that you're in the program, let's get you get you and I together, and just like what Aaron talked about, let's dig in deep and figure that out. And you may find a couple top, but at least a couple is better than 10. Right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Good stuff. Who else next? Jill, you want to jump in?
Sure. So a win for me, not really like work related, but I finally got to go see the concert that I've had tickets for almost 2.5 years, and it was everything I hoped for and more.
Excellent.
So I'm still floating on cloud 9,000 from that.
Who was
challenge,
it?
Huh?
Who was it?
It was Rammstein, the
Is that
German industrial metal band.
Oh, okay. Never
They're
heard of them.
so good. So good
Oh.
live. Even if you're not a fan of them, go to one of their shows. You'll be blown away. I promise.
Okay.
But a challenge is, now that I'm back from that, now I'm having a hard time getting my head back into the game. So yeah, just kind of taking it day by day.
Okay. Well, congrats on that assignment. How many people have been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland? CC has.
So Don, I was a little sad you didn't message me. I went to school in Cleveland. I
Oh,
did
did you?
undergrad there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Which side? Which side of town?
Case Western's on the east side of Cleveland, so
Okay.
definitely not in the better part.
Yeah. Yeah, we were hoping to go out to the botanical garden and stuff out that way, but we stayed downtown. Boy, it was a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you like rock and roll, you got to go. We do it
Cleveland's
for
gotten so much better than when I was in undergrad. Like
Yeah.
the flats, you used to get murdered there, and now you go there at a party.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, we were just impressed start to finish with the town. It was I expected it to be dirty and kind of crime, and they really have cleaned it up. So it's really neat.
CC, I really love your reaction to that.
Yeah.
Because it's so true.
All right. All right. Well, Joe, we got to work to get you back into the swing here. So we'll get back together. See, Chris, wins and challenges. You've already talked to your success, the job. What else?
Let's see. Well, the house construction is on schedule, so should be moving into that beginning of October. So that's good, in spite of all the supply chain issues, et cetera.
Yeah, good.
And yeah, I talked about my daughter getting going in school after 3 years of homeschool. So that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
As far as challenges, I guess, some little ones that, everybody else, if you're staying where you are locally to your home station, that's an advantage to you from a medical standpoint. I still belong to Joint Base Andrews, which is in Tricare East, but I'm living in Tricare West.
Yeah.
And I won't get into all the challenges that brings, but it's those two don't talk to each other, which is interesting. We're a global Air Force or military, but our medical system doesn't operate the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then just trying to get scheduled for my last VA disability rating appointment. They've had me drive some good mileages out here in Montana, and just FYI, they don't reimburse active duty for mileage. So I had to educate somebody. They said, well, we consider that you get paid with your clothing allowance. I'm like, officers don't get clothing allowance. And they were like,
Right.
Oh, really? anyway, that's so working through that. And then I got my retirement ID. I got it about 3 weeks early, but just FYI, if you get it early, it will not work at the gates of military installations until it's your effective retirement date. So, which isn't a problem for me out here. I'm not going to go on to Malmstrom for a little while. So, but just FYI.
Yeah, good points. Good points. Yeah, wait till you get to VA and Tricare. They talk even less. Man, VA is interesting, and every VA is different. I'm trying to get chiropractic care in other places in the country. They'll give you as many appointments as you need. Here, 12. And you're just damn lucky we gave you 12, was the comment my doctor said. Whoa. So
nice.
I'm considering a lot of different avenues here. All right,
yeah,
Delaney.
Medical is like a full-time job.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I tell you, man, do that discharge benefit. Was it, what do they call it? Benefited discharge?
Benefit delivery discharge or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, do it now, because I'm doing it after 12 years. I got 20%. I got 10% in 09. I got another 10% in 11 or 12. I finally getting some other stuff evaluated and got enough documentation. Not 100% yet, but I'm working there. So it's been a long process. I got 30% for my back last week. So, but it's a slow process. So do it now. All right, Delana.
Hey there.
Hi there. Catch us up. Good to see you. Did Matt and did we ever get back together? We ever set anything up? Okay, I'm going to be, I'll send you a note. I'm going to be out the 14th through the 24th camp, and we leave tomorrow.
You are the campingest thing I've ever met. I swear, you camp more than Boy Scouts.
I tell you what, it's that time of life, and I work MTR around it. I'm going to be.
I don't blame you a bit. I don't blame you a bit.
Yeah.
We just took the boy fishing over the weekend, so that was our outdoor activity.
Oh, good.
But no, wins and challenges. Wins. Gosh, I was recognized by J&J. They called me the diamond in the rough, which made me feel really good. I put a focus on a manufacturing facility that was shorthanded in a lot of things. And since I worked in operations, I understood the need for getting people hired quickly versus the past recruiters that had the recs. They've only ever been recruiters, so they didn't know that of how it affects daily activities. So I was really appreciated about that. Challenges. I don't know, maybe it's just a personal one, but I really want to sleep. I can't sleep past 3 a.m. and I have a disability that really is affected when I don't sleep. So I'm not quite sure if it's the neuropathy in my legs or if it's something else. But I would really like to find a way to sleep at least 6 hours.
Yeah. Have you
So
tried
that's
the,
my challenge.
we got in last year when I did my knee surgery with the little melatonin gummies?
Oh yeah, that helps me go to sleep.
Okay.
It's the staying part.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to help you when you wake up, get back to sleep. And it does some nights and it doesn't other nights. I've been having some of that same problem lately, but that's different cause.
I'm gonna I used to do Tylenol PM when I worked when I was working through COVID. I couldn't because I was working so many hours and I had to go to sleep, pretty much log off and go straight to sleep. So I would take Tylenol PM. So I'm gonna kind of go back to that and see if maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on like the full like the big girl meds for sleep. I'm trying to not do that.
Yeah. Somebody just talked Unisom helps. That was
Yeah.
Aaron. And then somebody was doing CBD, Gavin's mom.
I want to, but as even though I qualify, my disability qualifies for medical, my companies still don't. So I can qualify in the state all day long, but if they were to ever do a rando, I'm gonna pop and they'll fire me.
Yeah.
So I can't do that. I
Yeah,
wish I could.
unless you can get a waiver somehow and notification or whatever. They won't
They
do it.
won't. Most companies still, they're pretty set. Yeah, there's no wavering on that. So
Okay. Well, if
not to
anybody
mention
thinks,
I work for a pill manufacturer.
yeah, if anybody knows of anything, let's get some information to Lena. All right. So who else have we missed? Blake.
So last week, had a complete closeout of our last cohort with the Catalyst program, and did my AAR for it, and that flowed really smoothly, and I got a lot out of it, and it felt like the team got a lot out of it from the presentation side of what was done and what needs to be done the next time around. So I felt good about that.
Good.
Challenges. Working the whole recruiting process is always something that we're trying to build up and get in front of more people. It's going well. It's definitely not my personality type, the recruiting. So, but we got other people on the team that are doing a lot of it. So that's taking that workload off my shoulders. So it's been good.
Good. I want to get a conversation with you to understand the Catalyst program. Matt says you guys have been talking. I'm not getting much from Matt to really understand it. So
sure.
I want to spend some time with you. If you get a chance, like I say, I'll be gone a little bit, but I'll shoot you a note. We can get it scheduled.
Okay.
Okay. I got myself a note here to send you a note. Ash.
Well, that's a good segue. Coming from talk about the Catalyst program.
Is that right?
Yeah. Thanks, Blake, for all the drinking from the fire hose.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't claim all of that. That's the SMU side of the house, but they're doing good work over there.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the last 2 weeks, let's say 2 weeks ago, we took a first vacation in about 2 years, which was nice over the Labor Day weekend. Went down the Ozarks and did absolutely nothing, which
All
was
right.
awesome.
You need to do that.
Yeah, and have been with the Catalyst program for now 3 weeks and going through the SMU what was it, MBA program, the initial class of that at the same time.
Wow.
So that keeps me busy at night.
Yeah.
So other than that, the job prospects that I had, kind of like always, I get to the second interview and that's the last I hear of it. But I've also found some new opportunities. So I'm looking towards possibly, and these are kind of just things to keep me going while I'm going through this program. Because eventually at the end of the program, I'm hoping that this will be the springboard that I need to get out of, mid-management and up into something a little bit more higher. So my next opportunity I'm really excited about is a training opportunity with the VA. So that's what I've been doing.
All right. And Christine.
Well, I would say some wins have been that I've been busy with my business. I've been keeping up with a lot of events over the weekend and some during the week. And I managed to get a certification in Lean Six Sigma for Yellow Belt.
All right.
And then another one in Agile, the Beginning Agile Scrum certification. So through Star Sigma, and it was free to vets. I don't know if everybody knows that, but I think once a year they do a program, maybe more often. And I made a lot of connections and it was a really neat class. And then I also I got accepted into a DAO, which is a decentralized organization and it's international for haymakers, and they run hackathons globally. The one that's affiliated with the UN and the 17 Sustainable Growth Goals. And it was kind of cool that I got selected because not a lot of people are going to do it, get into this group, only a certain number, and that's it. Because the group is affiliated with blockchain and Web3. And if you're in the group, then you get a free NFT, and that gives you blockchain voting power over what's being done in these international hackathons. So it's really cool. It kind of goes along with a degree that I have in social and criminal justice. So that's about it for wounds. I've been applying to jobs that, make a lot of money a year, but haven't heard much from them. I'm doing all right though with my own business. I just think it'd be easier to work from somebody than to always have to go to all these businesses and try to get their business.
Yeah, it's a whole skill in itself, isn't it? Sales, business development. Yep, it is mindset and everything. All right,
Yes.
spotlight time. Thanks for the update. Hey, I had connected you, Christine, with somebody this last month. How did that happen? Can't remember the details now. You there, Christine?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll have to look back at my note.
Okay.
All right, spotlight. Who's got an issue, a thought, a question? Something you want the group's input on. We talked last time, this last meeting this morning, a little bit about what somebody said was a database. Was that Brian? The database to track, all the different contacts. I'm curious, since 3 or 4 people are working the elevator pitch. Is that guidance clear?
I can jump in if you'd like, Don.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm also with a couple of the other teammates here starting 4 block today, and they did add a good link and tab about what they're looking for, linked to a Harvard Business Review article on kind of a couple different methods of how the elevator pitch should go, and they kind of recommended introduce yourself and then give like a past, present, and future, right? Like, what have you done? What are you doing currently? And then what are you looking to do moving forward, trying to get that elevator pitch. But I know we've talked in the past about your elevator pitch. You gave that to us, which was nice. So I created two. One that was kind of one that your kind of model with kind of jump into a story and get that hook, and then I created another one for using their framework. So I think it'd be good to kind of discuss kind of what's the baseline. What are we trying to do? Obviously, we're trying to get a second conversation, right? Like trying to make it so it's memorable, right? If everyone's starting off with the same, hey, here's who I am, here's what I've done, here's what I want to do, right? Then how does it have you stand out to get that next conversation?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be interested to see how everybody else feels about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The purpose. And Aaron, you got your hands up. I'm going to come right back to you. But it sounds like the question is, kind of what is that purpose, and how do I work through that? How do I structure it? Aaron, go ahead.
Oh, I just Brian, I like the other conversation that folks are getting involved with 4Block. I wrote myself an email with my elevator pitch. It's very interesting because I kept them and now I see them in the Word doc, how they changed over the last 12 months of my last 12 months of active duty. Not only because of MTR, but because of 4Block. And I keep two screens behind my laptop. And I'm the type of person that likes to have those notes before I memorize it. Like, so my first couple interviews, I had this screen right behind my laptop and I could almost read it. And then it got to the point where I, absolutely had memorized. But then MTR happened, and then 4Block happened, and that, like you said, that where are you coming from, where are you experienced out, and then what are you looking for? How do you get that into 2 to 3 sentences? And now my elevator pitch, I've got it, and but that massaging of it, it's fun to reflect back on how it was almost elementary. I'm 21 years in, and look basic it looked to where it was just a few months ago, thanks to MTR and 4Block. But it's a very impactful thing to keep massaging, and 4Block's going to help you out with that big time. I look forward to hearing y'all's feedback.
Yeah. Let me start the first question, and then we'll have you guys jump in. Does 4Block talk about it? That HBR, Harvard Business Review article, talk about it? Ryan, from it's like a resume on steroids? Is it rehashing your resume in 30 seconds or less, or 60 seconds or less?
Yeah, I don't think it is that. I think it's just to get your information out there in front of that person you want to get it in front of, and just kind of structure it so you're not all over the place and it doesn't turn into the 15 to 20, 30 second thing into a couple of minutes, right? Just to keep you focused is from what my understanding of reading it and the coursework.
Okay. Who else has a question? Talking elevator pitches, talking the purpose. How do we structure those? What's worked, Ash?
So I guess my question is, do you have multiple elevator pitches for different, if you're going after a role, or you're, the event you run it, you're in the elevator with the CEO of a company you're really jazzed about, just to show interest. Did you tailor them?
Brian? You're on mute, Brian.
Sorry, still trying to figure this out. You got me? Cool. So yes, so just trying to focus. I just got my degree in healthcare administration, right? So if I'm talking to a local hospital in Boston, right, you're talking to Mass General, and you want that job there, or if you're talking to a science biotech company, right, I would think that those two elevator pitches might want to be different, and might focus on a couple of key things that are different. Would be my answer.
Okay. Who else?
I had a quick question. How long should the elevator pitch be? Should it be like 30 seconds? Should it be like a minute and a half?
Brian? How long is yours?
I don't think I'm the expert yet, right? But I think it's probably, I would say closer to 30 seconds, right? So if we're talking, you're just trying to get a hook to get a next conversation, and you're not trying to spit out your whole resume all at once, is what I would say, right? if you're trying to get somebody excited about you, right? I want to get that information out and get it into them so they can regurgitate and understand what you're trying to say instead of dragging on too long.
Yeah. That's about right. 30 seconds. We'll
Yeah.
come back around to that, I'm sure, in the advice piece. Aaron?
One of my first failed, and they do happen, I've learned, one of my first failed interviews, I was actually given feedback. He was a retired 2-star. Once the official part of the interview happened, it was with AECOM, he gave me feedback, said your elevator, he didn't use the word elevator pitch, but he said your introduction was far too long and you lost us. And I am a talker, and I get it. And mine was about a minute and a half, probably 2 minutes too long. A lot of that was nerves, but I lost them. I didn't get that hook that Brian just mentioned. So getting that finesse 30 seconds piece where you don't lose them, and in fact you energize them to want to learn more and ask more questions versus boring them and losing them after 90 seconds of 2 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, actually think about it from a conversation perspective. If you get into a conversation and you're talking for 90 to 120 seconds, the other side kind of starts shutting down, right? It's more of an interchange. So that's a good point. What are the questions? This is some good stuff coming out. Maybe it might be easier for advice. So Aaron just kind of talked a little bit about that, 30 seconds. That was a good question from Christine, right? How long should it be? 30 seconds. What's the purpose? Brian was asking that question. What's the purpose? What have you guys seen as the purpose of the elevator pitch? Is it to tell somebody everything about you? Gavin says no.
Like a introduction, if you will, before you start,
Yeah,
saying what you're looking for and all that good stuff.
that's right. Matt and I talk about, the top of the LinkedIn profile is really about getting somebody to read the rest of your profile. If you have the right banner photo and you have the right personal photo that's attractive and the headline resonates, they're going to go down to the about section and then your experience. If they pick it up and see that you don't really have a personal photo, and you're maybe have a stock banner photo, it's like, this guy's not even active. Why am I spending my time? Or if they just say transitioning to what? Transitioning how? So same thing kind of the resume. The resume top blocks is, above the fold on the resume is nothing more than I meet the qualifications, right? I got the year's experience, the degree, I've got the certifications. Now they'll go down and read the rest of it. So it's just use that same idea from an elevator pitch. How do I give in 15, 20, 30 seconds that piece that's going to want them to stay in the conversation with me and learn more and ask questions? And I love what somebody said. I don't know who it was. Ask questions of them in your elevator pitch.
Matt brings that up. He's brought that up many times before. I know Matt's not here with us today, but people love to talk about themselves. And so when you're in that interview process, not only did Brian bring a good part about the elevator pitch, get that hook, get that curiosity on their end, and then they're going to want to ask questions. They're going to want to feed the things they want to know about you, like you said, in regards to scrolling down that LinkedIn profile and reading the rest. But folks love to talk, and folks love to talk about themselves and their position. So you put in a position to ask questions and to talk themselves, I think you're a winner in that engagement interview piece.
Yeah. Here's the tough part about that, right? What's the danger of giving the floor to somebody? They might talk for 5 minutes, right?
Sure, yeah, we'll take the spotlight off of you. Right?
Yeah. I mean, you're there to kind of talk about yourself and use an elevator pitch, and you want to get them into the conversation, but you have to be careful because some people don't understand listening. They talk to talk. They start going into incredible details, and then you've got to develop a strategy, a process to pull them out and to get them back into a conversation. And that's a skill set.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. I have to do that with several people that I know. What other advice for Brian on an elevator pitch? What has worked? Chris, you just went through it. What worked for you?
I didn't really memorize one. I just sort of had my main points, and then, that way I could tailor it to whoever I was talking to. if you're talking to an Air Force government employee, that's different than talking to a city employee or a city leader. So, and plus, if I memorize something, it comes out, it becomes unnatural. And I just like to be natural and be myself and let the results, fall where they will.
That is so important. In 4 block last night, when people were reading their kind of elevator pitch, it was obvious when they were reading their elevator pitch. and when you memorize it, guys, tell me if this is true or not. You go too fast, you don't pause. You just go boom to boom to boom to boom to boom. There was one guy last night, he talked for a minute, and I don't think he took a breath. It's like, dude, take a few pauses. Let the people think for a second. That's an art. But the danger is sometimes if you pause, somebody will jump on it. Then you have to be ready to, kind of keep it going.
Chris, I actually did that memorization piece, and that's why I mentioned the screen behind me. I would read it almost. But I found success in grabbing pretty much like 3 or 4 mental phrases or keywords in that. I wanted to highlight that I was prior enlisted and became an officer. I wanted to highlight that I was in special operations and became a commander. And then I was pursuing my PMP. And then once I accomplished my PMP, I want to make sure that I just say, hey, I just completed my PMP, and and then just those key words, and that made it the conversation, like you said, more natural as opposed to unnatural and just memorizing every single the and all that kind of stuff. Just having those kind of key words and like, okay, I want to mention 1, 2, 3, 4, and done.
Yeah, and how do you tailor that to different audiences? Because like the city government declined this phone call. The city government, they're not going to care if you're officer, enlisted, or whatever, and they probably won't even understand that unless they have to be a veteran.
Oh,
so.
I completely agree with you, and that was just one example. In regards to like my certain one right now, disaster response and risk mitigation for the United States Air Force and border patrol, stuff like that. But yeah, absolutely, got to know your audience for sure.
Yeah. That was actually kind of fun interviewing with the city and getting that whole different perspective that the world isn't centered on the military. It was a good learning experience, and I'm going to learn a lot more.
see what doesn't fall around the military. We think it does, doesn't it? It's just been our whole life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's also about like timing, because the 4 block, how to build the elevator pitch. It's like hit your name, hit what you're doing now, hit what you're doing next, hit what you want to do, and then like something from the strengths assessment. But if somebody jumps in, is like responds to like your introduction, is like, oh crap, like making sure you know the points that you want to hit for that person you're talking with, or with whatever industry you're going towards, and making sure that like you're not completely flustered, like, oh, you broke up my elevator pitch. Like, why did you say your own name?
Yeah, another thing that military folks do, and Don made a good point, not everything centers around the military, even though that's all we've known. I actually did not get a position with, believe it or not, Kohl's, the store. I don't care about clothes at all, but they were looking for a disaster response, kind of active shooter type of director. And start talking about, I was a commander, I was responsible for this, and this. I made it, I was one of 300 applicants, made it to one of 2. And they called me back just because of my personality. They say, we usually don't call folks back to say you don't get the job, but I was overqualified. They literally used the word bored. So that's another thing. Again, Chris, you mentioned like you're retired 06, I believe, right, sir?
Correct.
Yeah, so it's just about dropping that military piece, and this is something else. And I know I gotta keep it quick, but this is one thing Matt got on to me about when I first got with MTR. We're using my rank and calling people sir, and saying is this? No, it's Aaron, and then that helped me also, and with the Coles experience too. We got to drop that military piece a little bit, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, is we're helping that transition piece to become civilian.
That's right.
Yeah, I think knowing the kind of role I want, I've tailored this 4-block resume to add or change some of the terms to specifically HR specific terms to
Mhm.
add the hook and keep the military piece, because I know it's 4 block and it's a military transition thing. So right, so and I would say highlighting the military experience is good, right? But trying to
Mhm.
get it to them and add value to them, and right, how could I help them solve problems is kind of the baseline of what I think elevator pitch should also have. And I think the last thing, if I could add, I added a last line, trying to see like what's the next steps, right? Hey, can I get 15 minutes of your time to discuss further how I can add value to your company, something like that, right? What does everybody think? Do you think you should add that a line at the end, right? What's the next step? How can we keep it moving?
Yeah. What kind of questions would you ask to get them engaged? You're trying to sell yourself and do your elevator
Sure,
pitch, but what
sure.
questions
So
would you ask?
sure. So I think the elevator pitch that I used as your template, as my background, or as my elevator pitch is kind of, hey, what's the HR leader you're looking for? What does that person look like, right? Is it somebody who, right, somebody who tackles hard problems, right, works together with a team, develops juniors, right, stuff like that. So try to think, what are they trying to solve by adding you as a team member to their job, and how do you put those into a elevator pitch is kind of what my mind frame had around kind of building the Don template of an elevator pitch, right?
The
What's
down
the
template.
problem? Sure, yeah. What's the problem, and how would adding me to your team solve some of the problems?
Yeah. Anybody else? What kind of questions would you ask?
So I still focus because I think I'm still early in transition and I like learning. So I asked about my last line was, let me pull it up here. Sorry. My last line is, do you have time within the next 2 weeks to grab coffee, speak about your career and future opportunities for collaboration? Because I see employment very much a collaborative thing. If I'm performing a role, then I'm providing value to their company, and also vice versa. So that's why I like to frame it as collaboration. I'm sure I'll get some feedback on that choice of word.
Sure.
Yeah. And we're just about to jump into accountability, but the last thing I would say is know your audience. If you get up on stage, the last thing you want to do is talk all about you. You want to find out who the audience is and what their problems are and what they want to hear. How can you talk things that would help them? I think it's the same thing when you're giving your elevator pitch, right? Know your audience. If you walk into a project management group, it's probably different than a environmental group, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe different than an HR group. So you're going to present yourself a little bit differently, and try to, I like that question about what does your ideal candidate look like? Get them to talk a little bit, and then you can show how you fit that. So maybe you give a little bit right up front, and then you ask that question. So mine would be, I've just top of my head, right? Hey, ever since the 5th grade, I've been all about cleaning America's waters. I've done a number of assignments within the military that have helped me manage hazardous waste, find contamination, design wastewater treatment plants. Let me just ask the question: what does the ideal candidate look for you in the company that you have? And then they'll give you some things and say, "Yeah, I've got several of those. Here's how I've done that." So you're not boring them with the resume right up front, but now you're just showing them a couple of examples in that conversation. And I'm trying to think of some other questions. I'll have to think into that. But see how that you worked real quick to a intro. Just a couple highlights, value, boom, get them right back in the conversation. Does that help?
It does help. I just really brought this up so I could help
Mhm.
CC get her elevator pitch set up. So I hope
Yeah,
she's good.
there you go. CC, does that all help you? You probably got it all written now.
She's good now.
Yeah. All right.
I've been taking a whole bunch of notes, so thank y'all.
Good deal. All right. Accountability. CC, why don't you start us out? 30 seconds or less. What are you going to do the next 2 weeks?
Stay on top of my 4 block and and continue to get after my my certification studies.
Okay. Carlos, what are you going to work on the next 2 weeks?
Similarly, I got 4 block going on, starts today. I'm enrolled in the 2 certifications, Salesforce and Google Cloud, to see what it's something I'm interested in.
Okay.
finding out my niche again.
There you go. All right. Jill, accountability next 2 weeks.
I'm still plugging and chugging along with the whole federal job hunt, trying to find things that I like and what I think I would be a good fit for. So I'm just going to keep on doing that.
Okay. I understand last time I was with you guys, you and Ash had just talked. So is that still paying off benefits?
It has. I went on vacation, and then it sounds like he's gone on vacation. So I need to hit Ash up again. Ash, I'm going to be
Okay.
texting you soon.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks again, Ash. And Ash, while I focus on you, what's your accountability?
I'm just going to continue to focus on the Catalyst program and work for the SMU program, and staying on top of work at the same time. And
Okay.
try to find some personal stuff in between all that.
There you go. That's more than enough, man.
Yeah.
All right. Chris.
Yeah, I think from a job perspective, just doing some more research on the city and
There you go.
mayor, commissioners, fellow directors, getting to know their biographies that I can find online. Other than that, might have to enlist my VSO to try to get that fourth VA disability appointment scheduled. They've been really slow rolling that one. Other than that, just making sure my daughter's successful in school and taking as much downtime as I can while I can with getting some more mountain bike rides and hikes, etc. in.
Good. Yeah, man, this is a good time to back into fitness and develop some of those habits, right? Yeah. Gavin.
Got a lot of stuff I'm working on, but the biggest accountability piece for 2 weeks from now is hopefully, or my goal is to have an approved skill bridge by that time. So
Wow. How's it looking so far?
good. I sent an email this morning to the Cisco military and leadership training for sales. So that was a recommendation from mine. I was thinking about hiring our heroes, but think I'm going to go in a different direction because that'll ultimately everything comes down to sales if you're working your way up the ladder. So I think that'd be a good position as I want to hit those growth careers.
Okay. Excellent. Aaron.
We talked about LinkedIn, and I brought mine up while during this hour, and I need to update mine. So I need to hold myself accountable. Mine still says I'm preparing for a transition from the Air Force, and as you can tell, I'm retired. So even though we talk about I have a potential this job opportunity, I've got the temporary or the offer. Networking is still key, and it needs to remain active and something I need to hold myself accountable to. So I will be taking some time on LinkedIn this week. So, and I'm going to increase my swimming too, so I can stay out of the hospital.
There you go. That's important. Yeah, it just made me think about a topic I'm going to talk to Matt about, mindset shift with LinkedIn, right? Because all of a sudden you use it for job. How does it change when you use it really for networking and professional growth? I'll talk to him about that. That could be a whole nother education section. All right, Brian.
Thanks, Don. Yeah, I think like Aaron, trying to get my LinkedIn to align with my resume and tell a story.
Okay. Blake. Is Blake still there?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm here. Being more outgoing and diligent with my communications to help the recruiting process and just keep accomplishing tasks and networking along those lines.
Okay. Did I get everybody? I've got initials here of CS and I'm not sure. Oh, that was Christine and she has dropped off. Okay. All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Finished right on it. So thanks for being here this morning. Great to connect back with you guys. Don't hesitate to reach back to Matt from LinkedIn and those kind of things. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. Resume reviews, if you want to practice an elevator pitch. I know we got a lot of resources, so don't hesitate to jump in and let's have conversations. And I will get with you, Carlos. Got my note for you on the what next. And I had a meeting with Delana, and she's already dropped off. But if you want to connect with me at all, don't hesitate. Let's get together. And Jill, I'm going to reach out to you as well. All right. You guys have a great one.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. See ya.
Good to see you guys engaged.
Enjoy
care,
your
everybody.
camping, Don.
Thanks.
See you tonight, Ash.
Yeah, right on.